The presentation with Mr. Larson, from the with the avalanche awareness was just there was a lot that I learned that I had no idea about. I knew before that avalanches were dangerous and they came from excess like extreme amounts of snow with no like base to support it on, but I didn't know much beyond that. I didn't realize that there was a like most of them are triggered by like the victim of the avalanche. Um there's it's not just like it is a natural thing, but it's not near as common as it is um like it's more common in areas like ski hills or like hiking trails where there's people on it. It's a lot more common for that to happen. Um I also didn't realize that there were two types of avalanches: point release and slab avalanches. Slab avalanches are the more dangerous of the two. They are like they're big piles of snow as opposed to just kind of one or big flat sheets of snow as opposed to just one kind of point where it crumbles down like with a point avalanche. Um, the the terrain is the most important part of any avalanche. They happen on slopes between 30 and 45 degrees, and they are so the steeper it is, the actually less likely it is that you'll have an avalanche. Um, the I guess in my mind, I always picture like, oh, the ridge at Bridger where no only the best skiers ski because it's so steep. That's where all the avalanche happens. Where that's not really the case because the ridge is so steep there, it doesn't hold the snow long enough to create an avalanche. It all slides down to a less steep point on the hill where then it causes one. Um, I also, in my mind, I guess I thought that avalanches were like I knew they were deadly, but I guess I always figured that it was the cold that killed you. You got buried and then you didn't, um, and then you just froze to death. And while that does happen, it's not near as common as trauma and asphyxiation. So that's a new fear of mine is choking to death in a avalanche. Um, the the idea that uh, the longer you're buried, like obviously the longer you're buried, the less chance of survival you have. But I didn't realize just how fast that drop off is. Of like, if you're within 5 minutes, you might survive, whereas anything longer, it's really unlikely if you'll survive just because you'll choke and you won't be able to breathe because there's so much snow crushing you. And that's quite scary just because there's no, like, it makes me want to ski in groups at all times, never out of a group. And just the whole presentation with Mr. Larson was really interesting.